Bố ơi, mẹ ơi, con về rồi đây.
Con gái của mẹ nhớ con lắm, bố cũng nhớ con đi xa quá.
Con cũng nhớ nhà. Con nhớ bố mẹ quá.
Con gái của bố đừng khóc nữa, về nhà rồi mọi chuyện sẽ
Con
ổn
vui
thôi.
quá.
Hello, dear viewers. In today's story, we witnessed a true miracle of family love and hope. After many years of believing she had lost everything, Huyen was shocked to learn from her younger brother Thomat that her biological parents were still alive. Without hesitation, Day immediately took her to meet them. The moment the door opened, tears flowed freely, and the long-awaited word, daughter, was spoken again after so many years of separation. It was not just a reunion, it was healing for all the years of searching and despair, a powerful reminder that family love never truly disappears. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, share your thoughts in the comments, and most importantly, subscribe to our channel so you won't miss more emotional and meaningful stories in the future. Your support is our greatest motivation to continue bringing you heartfelt content every day. Thank you so much for watching and staying with us. The small living room felt unusually quiet that afternoon, as if the air itself sensed that something life-changing was about to be spoken. Huyen had just finished arranging tea on the table when Thomat, her younger brother figure who had come to visit, sat down with an expression she had never seen before. His hands were clasped tightly together, knuckles pale, eyes flickering between her and Day. For years, Huyen had trained herself not to expect miracles. She had learned to live with unanswered questions, with missing pieces, with a hollow space in her heart where her parents once belonged. Yet something in Thomat's trembling voice made her chest tighten before he even spoke. "I found them," he finally said, barely above a whisper. "Your parents, they're still alive." For a moment, Huyen did not understand the words. They floated in the air, fragile and unreal, as though they belonged to someone else's story. Alive. The word echoed in her mind, colliding with years of grief she had carefully buried. She had searched hospitals, checked old records, asked distant relatives, followed rumors that always ended in disappointment. There had been nights when she sat alone, staring at faded photographs, tracing the outlines of her mother's smile and her father's protective gaze, wondering if somewhere in the world they were thinking of her too. Eventually, exhaustion had forced her to accept silence as her only answer. Now, that silence shattered. Her fingers began to tremble so violently that the teacup on the table rattled against its saucer. What did you say?" she asked, her voice thin and fragile. Thomat repeated himself, more firmly this time, explaining how he had come across new information, how he had confirmed it carefully before rushing over. Every word felt like a heartbeat pounding inside her chest. Hope, something she had forbidden herself from feeling, surged back with overwhelming force. But hope was dangerous. Hope could break you. Tears gathered in her eyes before she could stop them. She shook her head slightly as if afraid to believe it. "I searched for so long," she whispered. "I looked everywhere, and there was nothing." The years of effort, the disappointment, the quiet resilience she had built around her pain, all of it seemed to crumble at once. She pressed a hand against her chest because it suddenly felt difficult to breathe, as though her heart was too full, expanding too quickly inside her ribcage. Day had been silent, watching her closely. He saw the fear behind her tears, the fear that this might be another false lead, another cruel twist of fate. Without hesitation, he stepped closer and gently took her shaking hands in his. His grip was warm and steady, grounding her in the storm of emotions threatening to pull her under. "We'll go," he said firmly, his voice calm but resolute. "Right now, we'll see them with our own eyes." His certainty gave her something solid to hold on to. She looked at him, searching his face for reassurance, and found unwavering support. For years, she had carried her longing alone, smiling through the pain, pretending she had accepted the loss. But in this moment, she didn't have to be strong by herself. Her heart pounded so loudly she could hear it in her ears. Fear and joy tangled together inside her, impossible to separate. What if it was true? What if, after all these years of darkness, the light she had been searching for was finally within reach? As she stood up, her legs felt weak, but her resolve grew stronger with each breath. Whether this news would heal her or break her again, she knew one thing: she could not stay behind. The path ahead might be uncertain, but it was leading her toward the answer she had waited for her entire life. When they finally arrived, Wen felt as though the world around her had faded into a blur. She barely noticed the streets they passed, the sound of traffic, or the color of the sky above. Every step toward the small house Thomat had pointed out felt unreal, like she was walking through a dream she was afraid to wake from. Her hands were cold, despite the warmth of the afternoon, and her breathing came in shallow waves. Des stayed close beside her, his presence steady and reassuring, but even his strong grip could not quiet the storm inside her chest. They stopped in front of a modest gate. It was nothing extraordinary, just a simple home, worn gently by time. Yet to Wen, it felt like the doorway to another life. Thomat glanced at her one last time, silently asking if she was ready. She didn't trust her voice, so she nodded. The sound of the door opening seemed louder than it should have been. And then she saw them. Two figures stood in the doorway, older, their hair touched with gray, their faces marked by the passage of years. But there was no mistaking the eyes: her mother's soft, tear-filled gaze, her father's familiar, protective stance. Time had changed their appearance, but it had not erased the essence of who they were. For a few suspended seconds, no one moved. Wen's entire body went still. The world narrowed to the space between her and the two people she had dreamed about for so long. Her mind flooded with memories: her mother braiding her hair as a child, her father lifting her high into the air, their laughter echoing in a home that once felt safe and whole. She had replayed those fragments countless times, afraid they would fade. Now, those memories stood before her in living, breathing form. Her lips parted, but no sound came out at first. The tears blurred her vision so quickly she had to blink just to see them clearly. Her chest tightened painfully, as if her heart was trying to break free. She pressed a trembling hand against her sternum, struggling to draw in air. "Khan," she finally whispered, her voice cracking. "It's me. I'm here." Her mother let out a broken sob at the sound of her voice. It was a sound Wen recognized instantly: raw, unconditional, filled with love. "My child," her mother cried, stepping forward as though afraid Wen might disappear if she moved too slowly. The distance between them vanished in an instant. Her mother wrapped her arms around her, holding her so tightly it almost hurt. Wen collapsed into that embrace, the sense of familiarity overwhelming her. It was the same warmth she had longed for during lonely nights, the same comfort she had imagined when she felt lost. She clung to her mother like a child, fingers digging into fabric, afraid to let go. Her body shook with sobs she had held back for years. Her father joined them, his strong arms encircling both of them. His voice, deep and trembling, whispered against her hair, "Our daughter, we finally found you." The word daughter sounded sacred, like a blessing returned after being lost. Wen could hardly breathe, but she didn't care. The tightness in her chest was no longer fear. It was the overwhelming force of love crashing back into her life. She cried openly, without restraint, without shame. Years of searching, of hoping, of enduring silence, all poured out in those tears. Behind her, Des stood quietly witnessing the reunion. His eyes glistened, but he said nothing. This was her moment, a miracle unfolding in front of him. In that small doorway, time seemed to heal itself. The years of separation did not disappear, but they no longer felt like an endless void. They became a bridge leading to this single, irreplaceable moment. when a daughter returned to the arms that had never stopped waiting for her. Even after the first rush of tears began to settle, none of them were willing to loosen their embrace. Huyen remained wrapped in her parents' arms as if she were afraid that stepping back might make them disappear again. She could feel her mother's heartbeat against her cheek, fast and unsteady, matching her own. Her father's hands rested firmly on her shoulders, as though reassuring himself that she was real, that this was not another cruel dream. The air inside the small house felt thick with emotion, but it was no longer suffocating. It was warm, alive, filled with something sacred. They slowly moved inside, still holding on to one another. The house was simple, filled with signs of quiet living. Framed photographs on the walls, neatly folded blankets, the faint scent of tea lingering in the air. Huyen looked around with tearful eyes, trying to imagine the years her parents had spent here without her. A painful thought flickered through her mind. How many birthdays had passed in silence? How many holidays had they spent wondering where their daughter was? The weight of those lost years pressed gently against her heart, but instead of breaking her, it made her hold them tighter. Her mother cupped her face with trembling hands, steadying every detail as if memorizing her all over again. "You've grown so much," she whispered through tears. "You're beautiful, just like when you were little." Her voice carried pride, regret, love, all woven together. Huyen let out a shaky laugh between sobs, a sound that felt both foreign and familiar. "I never stopped looking for you," she said softly, "not for a single year." Her father pulled her into another embrace, resting his chin lightly on her head like he used to when she was small. "We never stopped loving you, not even for a day." His voice was steady now, but his eyes shone with unshed tears. In that moment, Huyen realized something profound. Even though distance and time had separated them, love had never left. It had been waiting, patient and unwavering for this reunion. Across the room, Die stood quietly, giving them space. Yet, when Huyen glanced at him, their eyes met, and she saw pride and relief reflected there. He had been her strength when hope felt dangerous. He had been the steady presence when fear threatened to take over. She walked over and gently took his hand, pulling him closer to her parents. "This is Die," she said, her voice steadier now. "He's been by my side through everything." Her mother reached out and held his hand warmly. "Thank you," she said sincerely, "for taking care of our daughter." Her father nodded in agreement, his gratitude clear without needing many words. In that exchange, Die was no longer just an outsider. He became part of the circle of family. They sat together, talking through tears and soft laughter, filling in pieces of the story that had been missing for so long. Every shared memory, every explanation, every apology and reassurance stitched their broken timeline back together. It would take time to truly understand all that had happened, to process the years apart. But for now, none of that mattered more than the simple fact that they were together. As evening light filtered gently through the window, Huyen leaned back against her mother's shoulder, her father's hand resting protectively over hers. For the first time in years, the emptiness inside her chest was gone. In its place was warmth, steady, undeniable, and healing. She had spent so long searching in the dark, afraid she would never find her way home. Now she realized that home had never been a place. It was this: arms that held her without hesitation, voices that called her daughter with tenderness, and a love that had survived time, silence, and distance. And as she closed her eyes, breathing calmly at last, she knew her life had begun again in the safest way possible, surrounded by the family that had finally come back to her.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các khán giả của kênh Live Single RV. Vậy là câu chuyện của chúng ta ngày hôm nay đã kết thúc tại đây. Trong câu chuyện của chúng ta ngày hôm nay đã kể về nội dung đó chính là việc Thomat đến nhà Huyền và tiết lộ thông tin là bố mẹ ruột của Huyền vẫn còn sống. Huyền đã rất là xúc động và bất ngờ, và cô còn bất ngờ hơn nữa đó chính là việc Thomat đã biết địa chỉ bố mẹ ruột của cô hiện đang ở đâu và sẽ dẫn cô đi đến gặp bố mẹ ruột của mình. Huyền và Đệ đã chuẩn bị hành lý và sẽ cùng Thomat đi đến nơi gặp bố mẹ ruột của cô. Cô cứ tưởng rằng mình là trẻ mồ côi, nhưng giờ đây cô đã có gia đình, có bố mẹ. Liệu rằng buổi gặp gỡ cha mẹ ruột của cô có thuận lợi như cô mong muốn hay không? Tất cả sẽ được hé lộ vào các câu chuyện tiếp theo. Các bạn đừng quên bấm vào nút đăng ký kênh sẽ nhận được thông báo mới nhất về các tập phim sẽ được mình phát sóng hàng ngày trên kênh Live Single RV nhé. Nếu các bạn thấy video hay, hấp dẫn mới lạ thì hãy bấm like, share và để lại bình luận góp ý ở dưới video. Và cũng đừng quên bấm vào link sản phẩm, các giỏ hàng được đính kèm trên video để mua các sản phẩm ủng hộ Huyền và Đệ nha. Huyền và Đệ cảm ơn các bạn rất nhiều. Thanks for watching their video. Please continue support their channel Live Single RV. Bye bye.